I just watched a video a couple of seconds, no, it was more than that, a couple of minutes ago about how if you're prone to rage about common things, it's a sign. Oh, I should turn my fan on. It's a sign that you might be suffering from severe depression. And I immediately emailed my therapist because things like suddenly it not working when I've set up a live stream and tested it and everything should be going and suddenly the moment I try to make it work, it suddenly stops working. That really makes me want to just start throwing things. I'm not. I'm keeping it together, but it's something to talk with my therapist about, I think. Today, we're doing a song, and it is a song that I've wanted to learn how to play for a long time. It's a song I've enjoyed a lot. I'm thinking about for the month of March trying to do all Irish music. I don't want to make that promise right now. I might. It really just kind of depends on if I can figure out how to play for songs that are Irish music. So let's talk about this song. I about circa 2013, I got just super into Irish music, and that was basically all I listened to for about a year. And I feel like a lot of people feel like they know Irish music. I certainly did before I started listening to it, and there's a lot to it that I'd never heard before, never really realized. And so you can have, I mean, it happens to me today where you kind of have a sort of epiphany where it's like, oh yeah, Hawaiian music, and then you start actually kind of peeling back the layers underneath like the Don hose, and suddenly you found like this is a legitimate style of music that people spend their whole lives listening to and creating, and there's a network and a community and a history and a culture around it, and it's all really fascinating stuff, and it's always fun to discover something like that. And so I got really into Irish music. um Another so this song hits on two themes that I feel like are starting to form for this project. One is, I just realized that box. So this is a plastic box that I had all my toy dinosaurs in, and I don't have any shelves. So I've just kind of been tossing them in a box, and I got them out, and I realized that a whole bunch of them are broken because they've been just getting jostled around in a box for over a year now. Geez, almost 2 years. And I dumped out the box, and I have all these dinosaur toys on the floor. And I thought when I tested the webcam, it cut it off around here. So I was not concerned with what this part of my apartment looked like. If it's not one thing, it's another, I don't know how to not suck at this. I'm worried it would take a lot more work, and I don't have that kind of time to commit to this. What was I talking about? Oh, this song. So there's two sort of. I also forgot a glass of water this time. That's great. There's two sort of themes that I'm noticing starting to totally organically emerge during this project. One is discussion of gruesome and disheartening historical events, which is not like, I never knew that about myself, that I like so many songs about the more unsettling parts of our history. And the second one is songs that I'm not sure we should still be playing them. This one in particular, I think there's an argument that it should still be played, and I think it's a strong argument. I'm not sure I should be playing it. And after today, I might play it for myself for fun, but I probably will not do it publicly. And that's just simply because one thing I've learned is that I think this is an American thing. I think Americans have a tendency to get a very vague idea of a complicated issue and weigh in and go all in on one side of that issue and maybe not know the details. And I think we have a tendency to equate the history of other people, especially people who are contending with being a territory of Great Britain. I think I'm choosing my words as carefully as I can here. I think we tend to assume when we see another country or another territory under the rule of England, we kind of say, oh, well, obviously they shouldn't do that. We should go all in for this side. And I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm not saying that Ireland shouldn't be given back to the Irish. I'm absolutely not saying that. But I am saying that I realize now that the subject of a lot of the sort of, this is especially true, I think Americans were very good at coming up with these very hagiographic depictions. Hagiographic? I think it's hagiographic depictions of people in conflicts that we don't fully understand, and we turn them into folk heroes when they're complicated people who did a lot of good things and a lot of evil things, and maybe at the end of the day we should still understand them as folk heroes, but I don't think that most Americans really understand. For example, Nelson Mandela, I think, is a perfect example of somebody who, I think, until I actually got out into until I was in college, at least, Nelson Mandela, this is really bothering me. It's really hard to get the top of my head and the bottom of my guitar in the same shot. We'll see if we can do that. I think it's very, there's this very, Nelson Mandela was a freedom fighter and people put him in prison because they were bad people and he was the good person kind of view of it. And regardless of how you feel about Nelson Mandela, I think you can agree that the situation is much more complicated than how I just described it. Yet I think most Americans see things as that simplified. We're good at simplifying things. Say what you want about America. We make things simple. complex, nuanced ethical dilemmas. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. That's our motto when it comes to international diplomacy. Keep it simple, stupid. Anyway, where was I going with this? So this is a song. It was written by the son of Irish rebel leader Stephen Behan. What's the son's name? Oh, come on, Charles. And it touches on a lot of people who were martyred, who died fighting for Irish republicanism, not necessarily IRA members, but people who wanted to see the British occupation end and were one way or another died for it. It's a song. It's not as old as I thought it was. It was written in the 50s or 60s, and I thought it was like 20s or 30s. The song's name, Come Out You Black and Tans, comes from the Black and Tans were in, I want to say, the 20s. There was a massive, because Irish separation from the United Kingdom was becoming more popular of an idea. A lot of the local police force who were employed by the British government resigned from their position. And so in order to counteract that, the British hired a bunch of mostly former soldiers. They got referred to as the Black and Tans because they wore recycled military uniforms that were black and tan. By the way, you should probably go with another source if you're like writing a term paper on this, because everything that I'm saying here comes with a heavy dose of this is how I recollect it. I might be getting the facts wrong. And so anyway, the recycled uniforms kind of speaks to how the British government was looking to do this as inexpensively as possible, which when you are putting people in a position of power and not giving them a lot of money, that often breeds the sort of corruption and racketeering and things that are not going to endear a police force to a populace. So it is seen as really jump-starting the cause for Irish independence in the 20th century. And furthermore, where was I going to go with that? I'm just going to play this song. I'm done with this. This song, it's kind of easy for me to play, except I still mess up a lot. And I think it's because it's a song where it's gone through various versions throughout the years, and various people have changed the words or added their own verses or something. And so, but you kind of got to remember which version you're doing. And I'm kind of doing my own version that I Frankenstein together, which is tough because you got to be like, okay, this time I got to say this, or a couple of lines later, none of the song is going to make sense if I don't say that counterpart to the thing I said in this part of the song. Also, like, you're supposed to play triplets, which I don't know how to do that. So there's no triplets today, but hopefully one day soon. I'm going to play now. where the loyal drums do beat, and the loving English feet, they walked all over us. And each and every night, when we thought would come home time, he'd invite the neighbors outside with this chorus. Come out, you black and tans, come and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the IRA made you run like hell away from the great and lovely lanes of Dillashaw. Come tell us how you slew them old Arabs 2 by 2. It's like the Zulus, they had spears and bows and arrows. How bravely you faced one with your 16-pounder gun, and you frightened them proud natives to the man. Come out, you black and tans, come and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the IRA made you run like hell away from the great and lovely lanes of Dillashaw. Come let us hear you tell how you slandered great Parnell when you thought us well and truly persecuted. Where are the sneers and jeers that you loudly let us hear when our leaders of 16 were executed? Come out, you black and tans, come and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the IRA made you run like hell away from the green and lovely lanes of Dillashaw. Alan Mackin and O'Brien, how you proudly called them swine. How determined to you hung and drew and quartered. Way up on the scaffold high, how you murdered Henry Joy and our Crawley boys in Wexford you did slaughter. Come out, you black and tans, come and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the IRA made you run like hell from the great and lovely lanes of Dillashaw. Now the times are coming fast, and the day will soon be here when each English Johnny he will run before us. And if there be a need, then our kids will say Godspeed in a verse or two of Stephen Behan's chorus. Come out, you black and tans, come and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the IRA made you run like hell from the great and lovely lakes of Dillashaw. All right, how do I keep... Can't believe I yammered on for that long that it's already about 20 minutes. I'm done with this subject. So yeah, well, I'm not saying Ireland shouldn't be independent. I do think I have realized in my being old and wise now that it is a situation a bit more complicated than, you know, this sort of cartoonish version of it that I had been led to believe by the kind of American mindset. That's my message for today. Whoa! Did you see that? I was wondering, like, I saw that it was kind of hanging on by a thread, and I was like, oh, I don't know. Well, I think it'll make it through this week, and it did. Just barely. That's kind of cool. All right. Wow, well, I'm glad I kept on yammering, because then you would have missed that. Anyway, wherever you stand on various global political situations, I hope you have a nice day, and thank you Well, not so, like if you're like, ah, the Nazis were awesome. I want you to not have a nice day. I'm sorry. That's just the way it goes. Otherwise, have a nice day. And yeah, I guess I'll see you next week. That's everything.